guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Liz and today is going to be another story time like the rest of my videos on this channel. So I'm going to try to run through this as quick as possible. I started this whole hair and makeup process at like 6:37 and now it's about 10:30, so I had to, blow dry my hair, straighten, do this whole full beat. I tried a sunset look for anybody who cares. Like, this is her. Yeah, I'm not a makeup artist. I just picked up a palette and was like, this would be nice. Alrighty, so today is going to be a story time about my horror birth control. It's probably going to be a two-parter. The first part is going to be my Nexplanon Experience, which is the arm implant. I have my badge of honor here and my IUD. I guess you could watch the videos independently of each other, but if you want the full context, you probably should watch both. But hey, it's up to you. So the first thing, I talk with my hands. Oh my god, I'm sorry. So the first thing I'm going to get into is the different forms of birth control methods and the reason I chose the Nexplanon, which is the arm implant. And throughout the video, again, I will, like I always do, I'll show you little pictures so you see what I'm referencing. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is go over the different forms of birth control methods and why I decided to go with it or not. So these are all off the top of my memory. I didn't really do my well-endowed research as I should have. But again, always consult with your OBGYN. And they can tell you much more than I know. So the first group of birth control methods, I will go over the short-term ones and then I'll go over the long-term ones versus male and female. So for the short-term birth control methods for female, there is the ring. A common name is the Uva ring and Nuva ring. And it's literally this circular ring. It's a hollow ring. Now, I was quoted by my OBGYN that you could stick inside your uterus and it'll stay about for a month or so. Obviously different brands range in longevity, but that's the one I'm familiar with. The next form of short-term birth control for women is the diaphragm. You use it in addition with the spermicidal jelly. You put it on top and then again you insert it in your uterus. I believe it was either 6 hours before intercourse and then you take it out afterwards. I think you could have it in there for up to 18 hours max. So the next form is the Depo shot or Depo-Vera. So basically they inject you in your buttocks every 3 months with a bunch of hormones, and a lot of women have like massive weight gain as one of their side effects, and your girl's already obese. I don't want to do that. I don't need more pounds, okay? Like, I'm trying to maintain what I have. Don't need more. All the previous short terms birth control mentioned, it's a nuisance. I don't want to do it. It's too short of a short-term birth control. Obviously a month, 18 hours, just not. And then, I guess 3 months, but like, I don't like the sound of that and the side effects and having to go to your doctor every 3 months, like for an office visit. Like, I work 6 days a week. I don't have time. So a next form of birth control is the patch, where you just put it on. Obviously it's transdermal and you just put it on your skin and it's supposed to absorb. Thing with that is your BMI cuts off at like 30. So if your BMI, which means body mass index, is larger than 30, the birth control is not going to absorb, and it's a hormonal one. It's not going to absorb into your skin. So your girl is sitting at like a common 50, 60 BMI. Like, obviously it's not going to do nothing for me, so I can't use that one. Another one is the pill. We're all familiar with the pill. You have to take it every day at the same time. And it was not going to work for me. Like, it's just, I forget to take my own medication now. I only have one sometimes. And it's just like, it just wasn't going to work for me. So I didn't go with those methods for those reasons. So the next one, which is the one I used, was the Nexplanon. Now it's like a little, this is where they injected me. They numb it with like local anesthetic or like, some kind of anesthetic. I don't know. They numb it, and then it's like this little gun pretty much, and then they just insert it, and it just stays there in your arm for like 3 years. Now this is the one I'm going to talk about. This is the one that caused me grief. So yeah, it sticks in your arm for 3 years. And then another form, which is more semi-permanent, is the IUD. Now the IUD, depending if it's the copper IUD, which is the non-hormonal, which is called like Paragard, or the hormonal one, which I believe is called the Mirena. And the non-hormonal can be in your uterus for about 5 to 6 years. The hormonal one can be in your uterus for about 10 years. So the OBGYN opens up your vagina with a speculum, and they look at your cervix or what have you, and they insert the IUD. I mean, I guess, y'all, I'm not a professional. Okay. And it's kind of, again, like a little push thing, like a little push pop, and they push the IUD into your uterus, and there's no anesthetic, there's no numbing anything. It's uncomfortable, but it's not like painful. Those are all the birth controls I'm familiar with. Now, obviously for the men, you just got condoms. You just have condoms. I mean, I guess they're coming out with new inventions for birth control for men, but like as far as now and on the market, you just got condoms as far as a temporary short-term method. Now, obviously, the long-term versions of birth control for men are vasectomies, where they snip the vas deferens, I guess. That's what it's called, vas deferens. So that's why it's called vasectomy. So it's vas deferens. VASDE, don't try me. I don't know the rest. And then for women, there is the tubal ligation, and some people call it getting your tubes tied or getting your tubes burned. They don't really burn them. I mean, that's like an old term, but some people call it that. And obviously those are more permanent birth control methods. Now, I still want kids at some point in my life. When it came to determining the more semi-permanent ones, I was just honestly looking into the Nexplanon. I was like, okay, it's in for 3 years, take it out, whatever. Boy. Okay, so before I go into my personal experience as far as the birth control methods, I'm not telling you which methods to go with. I'm just providing you information. Yeah, obviously your doctor will be well more informed than I am. I'm not a professional, okay? I'm not a medical professional. I am an aide, but that's goes nowhere to the realm. I'm just speaking about my personal experience. Now, I'm not telling you which methods to go through or which methods you should go through. I'm just here dumping information. That's about it. So, when I tell you I will never do this again, I will never do this again, okay? So, as far as the process goes, like I said, insert it, numbing. My OBGYN that inserted the Nexplanon said it would be like burning sensation. Now, I did not initially feel that, but however, that night of the whole process, your girl could not sleep. For like 30 minutes, it was burning my arm. I was like, oh my God, it's on fire. So it was weird that it was a delayed sensation, but it was like, okay, but it was only that one night and it didn't happen again. So I had it in for 3 years. Now, almost immediately after having the thing inserted, I was spotting every day, and it did not stop, okay? For 3 years, it did not stop. And it was just inconvenient, and it's just like every time I kept going to the doctor, they was like, oh, when's your last menstrual? I'm like, sis, I don't know. You tell me. I have no idea. I haven't had a normal menstruation since I got this goddamn thing inserted. So 3 years go by, and it comes to the time for me to get this thing taken out of me. So I go in exactly like 3 years to the day because I'm on it, okay? And it was around June time. And here's the thing. The doctor could feel it. They, numb me, try to get it out. They do like a little incision. I don't know if it was like a millimeter or centimeter or something like that small. And she could see it, she could feel it, she could grab it, but it would just sink back into the position where it like had a cozy little spot in my arm for some reason. And she could only see like half of it. So it's like maybe, I don't know, like this big. And she could only see like that much of it. And she's like, listen, you're going to have to go to an OBGYN. I think she was an M. Someone needs to make a bigger incision. So therefore, she couldn't take it out. So I was like, oh my God. I was hoping and praying to God she'd get this goddamn thing out of me. But, like, she couldn't. She's like, I'm going to try. She tried her hardest, and she couldn't. So I go to my OBGYN, and she's, like, pressing hard into my arm. She's like, I can't feel it. I said, well, I can feel you doing that to me. Like, I can feel the arm implant in my arm and you pushing it down. I didn't see all that, but in my head, like, it was like, okay, sis, that hurts. I feel it. She's like, you know what? I can't feel it. So she, like, sends me for an x-ray, do this stupid x-ray. She's like, are you sure it's in your left arm? I'm like, I'm pretty freaking sure. They give you this little card with the doctor's name, the date of insertion, and when you have to get it taken out. And I'm like, and designated arm. And I'm like, it's in my left arm, okay? It's in my left arm. I know it's there. And the doctor's office I was at, when I called back, I was like, okay, did you receive my x-ray? They're like, yeah, the machine's down. Like, all the computers are down, because they're doing some big update or whatever. She's like, you know, we can't see the x-rays or whatever. She'll call me back. Sis didn't call me back. Since 6 months go by. And I'm like, we were supposed to set up an appointment. She did not want to do this. So we set up an appointment. I go back there, and first, like, they call my name. I go back there, and it's just a doctor with a urine cup. And I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do with this? She's like, can we get a urine sample? I was like, okay. I don't particularly have to urinate right now. I said pee, but, like, you know. I was like, I don't particularly have to go right now. And she's like, okay, well, we have a fountain. I'm like, okay, where is it? Like, why are we playing guessing games? Like, you work here. Like, obviously we're not in the hospital, but, like, no bedside manner. Like, if you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just, like, apparently they were short staffed with, like, MAs, medical assistants, and they're just, like, because usually that's who brings you in, does, you know, vital signs and everything like that. And I guess apparently they were short staffed or what have you, because the doctor just initially just was the first one that saw me back there, and she didn't even, like, sit me in a room. She literally just handed me a cup, and I'm like, okay. And then she was just procrastinating, like, the whole thing. So previously I called to get a testing for, like, C19 because I was exposed at some point, and I got it tested beforehand, but I initially called my office to be like, hey, can we set up a screening test or whatever. And I got it, like, a week before the appointment, so I didn't really need it anymore, but I didn't call back to the office. And then, like, she's like, actually, I don't even think you're supposed to be here. Like, you know, you were exposed. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I got tested or whatever. It's negative. Like, she was doing everything in her power to just not do this. So before she even, like, nubs me up or what have you, she told to the nurse in the room, like, hey, get this doctor just in between in case I'm not able to get it out. So she starts digging in there, and she's trying. I don't know how long, maybe like 10-20 minutes she's trying to get this thing out. And another doctor finally comes in, and she's like, yeah, can you come help me? I'm like, oh, God. Ugh, Jesus. So the other, like, at this point, this is 3 doctors trying to get this thing out of me. So what had happened was, it bent in my arm. So instead of being straight, it was like this. And tissue started growing around the space where the Nexplanon bent in my arm. Now, it just, like, literally just took a nice little spot in my arm and decided just to like, stay there longer than she was supposed to. But I think, like, a long time ago, at some point, it bent in my arm. Oh, my God. I still have ghost pains. They literally had to rip it out of my arm. And this is where they took it out. And now there's some scar tissue around the area where they took it out, and up here the 2 other parts, I think I'm allergic to some adhesive that they use. I'll pop up a picture of what they use because I don't know the official term, but it's kind of like just one little sticker thing. Obviously it's not a sticker, but that's why I had, because it was itchy, right? So I was scratching both bottom and top, so now I have this permanent scar. In the middle, that's where they had the incision. And also before, like, when I had my fibroadenoma taken out, which is like a benign tumor, what have you, like, I got allergic to one of the stickers that they were using. Stickers. It's like a Band-Aid, okay? It's like a medical grade Band-Aid. I keep calling it a goddamn sticker, but you know what I mean. Okay, so that was it. That was my entire birth control nightmare, just specifically for the Nexplanon. Now it does not end there. That's why this video is in 2 parts. And the other one is going to be about my IUD. So there was a time period between after the 3 years were up and the next time I was able to even get situated. They're like, well, since your Nexplanon is expiring, you need to be on a different birth control, because technically it's only approved for the FDA for 3 years, so we need to put you on a different birth control before we even like take out the Nexplanon, because the 3 years were up and there's going to be some time in between the next appointment and, you know, obviously, because they couldn't get it out in that appointment. So I had gotten the IUD inserted, which is where we will move on to part 2 of this story, and another video will be posted probably next week following exactly this one. So the nightmare does not end here. Great. My life is just a mess. It's just a mess. And all I'm just gonna do is not have kids right now. Like, why is that so hard? And also for females, like all we have for men is condoms, really, or a vasectomy. Like that's all we have. We need to work on better male contraceptives. Okay. When I heard about the more studies or trials I think they're trying to come up with for male contraceptives, men are like, oh, there's too many side effects. I don't want to do that. Excuse me, do you hear like half the BS women have to go through? Anyways, that's another rant for another day for another video. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, because YouTube makes me say this. If you watch this video, actually, you know what would be better? Would be like a no emoji. This is bad. Like a little, you know how they have like the little red emoji where it's like a circle but like a line through the circle, and then do a little baby emoji, because we're not trying to get pregnant. Just not right now. Is that mean? If you feel that's mean, then just comment down a little blood drop emoji, because I was like menstruating for 3 years, which was lovely. Because, you know, tampons and pads are just, and panty liners are just, you know, free. They should be free, okay? They should be free. It's not a luxury. It wasn't, oh, I'm going off in a rant, but like recently they just removed the tax, luxury tax on tampons and pads. You think it's a luxury item to have pads and tampons? Let me just stop ranting. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.